Hello BookTube, hello everyone watching, it's Paul here, and today I thought I would do the 12 Days of Litmas tag. I thought about doing this and I wasn't sure because I've seen a lot of Litmas videos over the past 12 days and I've been really impressed at the effort people have put into posting a video every day for this thing. But I didn't really know about it until it was well underway, and I was intrigued by it and I was enjoying a lot of the videos that were being posted, but I didn't really want to start halfway through, and the end has now come to this Litmas period, and I thought that I would just attempt to do all of the prompts in one. So and as most people will know, this came from Adrian and Dalton at the Strict Cover Lit, so which is a channel that most people will know, but I'll put the link down below anyway. So I'm kind of doing this at the last minute, so I am reading the prompts from my phone, so I apologise for that, but here goes. So prompt number 1. The best BookTube friend I made this year. Well, that's an easy one. That's Jason from Old Blues Chapter and Verse. He has been very friendly and supportive to me this year. So that's a real easy one. He has been very helpful to me in setting up my own channel. So yeah, he's been a good friend that I've made this year. I'm really happy for that. Prompt number 2, the best writer I read for the first time this year. Well, that has to be probably Jessie Burton, who wrote The Miniaturist. I read her for the first time this year. I believe she's only got 2 books out at the moment, but I loved that book and I thought she was a terrific writer, so yeah. The best book I read this year, that's the third prompt. I think the best book overall I read this year was the first one that I read this year, which was The Old Curiosity Shop by Charles Dickens. I just thought it was a great book that had everything. It was just a great story. It made me smile, it made me laugh, it was tragic, it kept me guessing, it was just, of course, so incredibly well written, and yeah, I loved it, really loved it. The next prompt is the best poem I've read this year. And I have to admit, I don't think I've read any poetry this year, but I thought I would answer that prompt by showing you this book that was sent to me from a friend of mine who actually lives in America, and it's Robert Frost's poems. And this book was sent to me with one of the poems in particular in mind, which was The Birches, another very famous poem that people will know, I'm sure, but that's become an all-time favourite of mine, The Birches by Robert Frost. I think the poems recommended by friends are especially special, and so yeah, that's the poetry answer. The next question. The best BookTube video I watched this year. Well, what a question. How do you answer that? There's so many great BookTube videos that have been made. People put so much effort into them. They're so well thought out. There's so many good ones, but I guess the one that's coming to mind first is a very short video that I think was posted yesterday or the day before for Litmas from Steve Donoghue, which is, it just made me laugh so much. it was the one where he was asked to, the prompt was the 2018 BookTube MVP, Most Valuable Player, I think that stands for, and Mark Richardson was sitting behind him, you know, making sure that he gave the right answer. You kind of have to see it. I'll leave a link to the video below, but it really made me laugh, and to see the two of them together in the same video, and they've done a few together now, is it's so much fun to see, and it cheered me right up, that video. So the next prompt is the quote of the year. That was a tough one. This year I did start, I guess, something of a commonplace book. And the one of the quotes that I wrote down was from a book called The Silversmith's Wife, written by Sophia Tobin, which is an excellent book, by the way. I recommend that you check that out. But the quote was just one line, and I thought it was so effective. And the quote was, "Fear pushes so much out of a person." And that just really made me stop and think, you know, I mean, in the book they're talking about fear, but you could think about any strong, intense emotion. It could be fear, it could be anxiety, it could be, you know, many different things. But if you are consumed with fear, consumed with anxiety, consumed with any intense emotion, it kind of hijacks the rest of your personality, the rest of who you are as a person, and all there is this fear or this anxiety or whatever it happens to be. And it just really made me think, because I am someone that is dealing with anxiety issues, and yeah, it made me think about just how much a really intense emotion like that can push the rest of who you are to one side. And it just really made me think. So yeah, that was my quote of the year. The next prompt is the big thing I learned this year. I guess that means from BookTube or from in general, I don't know, but I guess I'm going to interpret that as the big thing I've learned this year from BookTube. And it's something that I've gradually been learning by degrees for a few years now, and that is the importance of being authentic and just being yourself. And I think that that's something that I'm appreciating in a deeper way all the time, and it's something that I try and do as much as possible, is just to be who I am, you know. So that's something that's been certainly reinforced by my BookTube experience. The next prompt is the idea, theme, thought, or literally something that really stuck in my craw. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's very little that's annoyed me from the book world this year. I mean, it just, I suppose, one thing that does annoy me is anything that's overhyped. You know, I mean, take for example the Harry Potter books, great books, I'm sure, you know. I'm going to have to read them at some stage. But when something has so much hype around it, I just feel like I've, you know, been overwhelmed before I've even picked up the book. So that's something that I struggle with personally. So that's my one of my bugbears. The next prompt, brag a little bit and thank your community. Well, I don't know if I have much to brag about, to be perfectly honest. I suppose the one thing that I'm becoming better at is just simply being myself, and as far as BookTube's concerned, that's something that I'm going to try and do. I suppose I try and be genuine, and that's kind of maybe what I bring. I hope that I can bring something unique in that, and just being who I am as an individual, but time will tell. And thank my community, and thank my community. I mean, what BookTube has demonstrated to me is that in this often ridiculous, superficial, silly, online world that's been created over the last decade or couple of decades, there's a lot of nonsense, you know, there's a lot of silliness. And within BookTube you find a very genuine group of people who are talking about something that they're passionate about, and it's a group of very honest, open individuals who support each other well, and when I started to get into BookTube I noticed that very quickly, and so yeah, I sincerely thank the BookTube community for being that way, and I really hope that I can become a part of that. So it's a great thing to see. So thank you, BookTube. The next prompt: some writers and booktubers you'd like to know better this year. Well, I started this channel, I think 5 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago, and I'm starting to get to know people through it, other booktubers, people in the comment section, which is really nice, and I hope that that continues. You know, there's people that I've connected with quite well already, and I'm just really open to, you know, seeing what happens there, you know, and I really hope I can make further connections with people. I'm quietly confident that I can do that through this channel, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's one of the things that took me by surprise when I started this channel, was that the thing that I enjoy most is the interaction with other people involved in this BookTube thing that we've got going. Whether it's people that have channels or people in the comments field, it's really great, really great thing. The next prompt, this is a tough one. The 2018 BookTube MVP, most valuable player. I think I'd like to mention two people here. It's so difficult to single individual people out, because there's so many people that bring real value to this to BookTube. But I suppose the one that I've already mentioned for obvious reasons is Jason at Oakley's Chapter and Verse, who has helped me so much this year. But also I'd like to just mention a booktuber called Catherine at the Reader's Anthenium. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I'll leave a link to both their channels in the description box below. And the reason I mention her channel is because that was the first booktuber that I stumbled across on YouTube, and it caught my attention and I enjoyed the videos, and it really broke me into the to BookTube in general, which, you know, before that point I didn't know existed. So for me this year, that BookTuber has, quite by accident, but that BookTuber has really opened up a whole new universe for me that I've and it's turned into a hobby. I'm now making my own videos, which is great. So she opened a door for me. She didn't know that she opened a door for me, but you know, in terms of value, that turned out to be, you know, her videos were something that really got me into this. So that was of great value. The last prompt: reading, writing and booktube goals for 2019. Well, I'm not a writer, so I don't have any goals writing wise. Reading, I spoke about in my last video the 1,000 book reading challenge that I've set myself, which is great for me. I'm not going to get too obsessed with numbers on a year to year basis, because I've worked things out that I can achieve that long term goal sooner or later, quite possibly later, but I will achieve it at some point. And I'm quite relaxed about that, you know. This year I think I read 35 books, which was a record for me. I don't really want to continually up the ante and say, right, I want to read more and more and more as the years go on. I'm just going to be quite relaxed and just, you know, enjoy my reading, take one book at a time and see where I end up. So I suppose my reading goal is to just be a little bit more relaxed with it. The booktube goal for 2019, well, as I mentioned a few moments ago, this is a new channel. I started it about 5 weeks ago, and I didn't really think I would still be making videos right now at Christmas time. And now I'm thinking I'm going to keep this going throughout 2019 and just see what happens, you know. When I started my own channel, it took me by surprise that people were quite welcoming and encouraging about what I was doing, and so that's going to help me to keep going, and it's going to be an interesting journey in 2019. You know, I'm open to what happens. I've got no idea what's going to happen by the end of the year. I'm not really in it to collect subscribers. As long as I have a small group of people that I can discuss books with, that's fantastic, you know. That said, it's going to be interesting to see what the subscriber count does over the course of a year. Is it going to increase? Is it going to go down? Is it going to stay the same? I don't know. It's going to be pretty interesting to find out. Not just that, but it's going to be interesting to see who I end up connecting with, new friendships that come about. So 2019, booktube wise, is going to be very interesting for me, because I've just started the channel and it's just going to start to grow, I hope. So, and what comes with that, who knows, it's going to be pretty interesting. So yeah, that's my answers to Litmas. I hope that it hasn't been too annoying that I've done it in a winner when people have gone to so much effort to post videos every day. I'm very conscious of that, but anyway, that's kind of it for today. So if you've made it this far in the video, thank you very much for watching, and wherever you are, I hope things are good, and yeah, that's it for today, so bye for now.